They recognize that that's a building where John Wooden coached and Wilt Chamberlain played. The ghosts of college basketball are alive and well in that venue.
The MIAA Game Show back again this week, getting ready for MIAA Madness, MIAA basketball in Kansas City here upon us now. Joining me as always, Commissioner Mike Racy, as well as the Director of Membership for the MIAA, Anthony Ridoff. Guys, thank you for coming on. Anthony, I guess this is going to be your week to shine here coming up, because this is kind of your baby in a way, right?
I guess so, yeah. In addition to handling the run of show for this year's tournament, once again, it'll be my third time doing that. Working really closely with our promotions team, our group of about 5 or 6 or so of us, to add even more fun and excitement to the tournament on the court, in addition to all the great basketball action happening on it as well. And so in addition to scripting the games and everything, a big part of what I do with it is working on the in-game or on-court promotions during stoppages. And so for the past few weeks, really past few months, as we know, and Mike can attest to this, the tournament and everything that goes into it is in the back of our minds, 12 months out of the year, since it's an all-hands on-deck effort. And so I've been working with some of our MIAA partners and reaching out to some new businesses or local companies about getting involved and maybe offering some prizes and things like that. And it's all coming together really well at this point, and we're excited to tip things off here in just over a week.
Anthony, we'll get to that here in just a little bit, but Mike, we'll start with you. I guess the first thing I'll ask, tongue-in-cheek here maybe, but do you have to make sure the promotions, at least one person's enjoying them? When I say one person, he may be in the office as you are. Does you get to make sure one guy's enjoying not just the basketball, but the in-between stuff too?
Absolutely. We like to have fun. We work hard, but we like to have fun. But Anthony's right, Chris, that this is really our Super Bowl. This is the biggest event on the biggest stage that we're part of, being able to do this for men's, women's basketball. I think we're one of the largest Division II conference tournaments as far as all teams being at the same site. There are a few conferences that have 16 teams in the tournament, but they start on campus sites, and then they pare down and then get to a kind of a neutral court. We bring 10 teams on the men's side, 10 on the women's side to Kansas City, get to play in historic Municipal Auditorium, nationally ranked teams, a lot of students on rosters that played high school basketball in Kansas City or around the Kansas City area. And I think that's what's made the tournament so successful in Kansas City. Part of it is the promotions, and Anthony keeps them coming back to have fun, especially our young people. But I know basketball fans in and around Kansas City really appreciate the level of play, and some young people that they're familiar with, maybe having watched them grow up and play, and then play in high school, before being stars in college.
We'll get into some of the what goes into making the tournament run here in a second, but let's talk first about the KPI rankings. Volleyball fans, MIAA volleyball fans, they know what this is. It's different this year of how the MIAA tournament seeding is going to be. Not MIAA standings for the regular season, but the seeding for the tournament is a little bit different this year. Yeah,
and selections. We're using KPI to select the teams and to seed the teams. And we had, I can't remember if it's our second or our third release on Monday morning of what KPI says for both the men's and women's basketball. And, they're pretty close to what you would find if you looked at the standings, but there are some differences, a few differences. Maybe a team that's that's 8-7 is ahead of a team that might be 9-6. in the seeding, where, if we were just going by standings, that wouldn't be the case. And I know KPI and, putting another metric into the process of, who makes the tournament and where they're seated. It's a change. We've gotten some feedback from some fans that don't like it, something new. But I think it worked well in volleyball. We'll see how it goes in basketball. But I think, adding an element to reward teams for a great season and make it to Kansas City, and doing that based on the strength of your schedule. Not everybody in the conference plays everybody an equal number of times. So, we're using KPI as a way to help balance that and adjust for some teams that may have had a little stronger schedule based on who they played, luck of the draw. And, we'll see. Like everything in the MIAA, Chris, I think you and I have talked about this before. As commissioner, I'm willing to try something. And, if it doesn't work, we'll adjust and make changes. But, you don't know until you try it. And, like I said, I think KPI worked pretty well in volleyball, and we'll see what the selections and the seeding look like on Saturday after KPI runs the course and we have all of the games finished.
And you mentioned the reason why was not everybody's playing everybody. The unbalanced schedule, obviously adding Arkansas, Fort Smith into the mix as well this year, made that unbalanced schedule as well. Just when you look at how it's operated so far, just are you satisfied, I guess, with what KPI has been able to do? Because it is another metric. It is something else that teams, fans all have to account for, that some of it's just out of your control if you're a fan, or some of the athletes too, just based on if the unbalanced schedule part of it as well.
Yeah, I am. I as our conference is 14 members, some of the other conferences in Division II that are our size or a little bigger, they're using KPI as well, for the exact same reasons we are. You're not playing everybody, so we need some sort of a metric that's going to help us evaluate, who truly is the best based on the schedules they're playing. Division I uses it. A lot of Division I conferences use it for their postseason events. The NCAA in Division II, all of our sports committees have this now as a tool that they can use in selections. So I'm comfortable that we're using it because it is a metric or a tool that's being used more and more in college sports. And I'm also comfortable because so far it seems to be working in the MIAA. It seems to be showing us where there are some teams that may be close in record, some things that might distinguish them to help us figure out who needs to be in the tournament and where they need to be seated. So far, so good.
Selection process and the final seedings will be out on Saturday after the completion of all the MIAA games. Again, most teams still have 2 games to go this week, today as well as Saturday. All right, Anthony, let's talk about some of the fun parts of the MIAA basketball tournament that you are busy putting together and making sure Mike enjoys, right? That's number one priority there. What's
priority number one?
Yes.
Yep.
If Mike's not having fun, you're not having fun. That's
exactly
how it works. Yeah. Anthony, we'll start with some of the special events you have planned this year. What are those, and what kind of work took into making these all possible?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we want to kind of complement, obviously, the high level of basketball that would be played throughout the tournament. We want to have fun, interesting, engaging activities and events going on when there isn't action on the court. And so one of the jobs I'm tasked with and really enjoy being part of, our promotions team I touched on a little bit earlier, they always do a phenomenal job of coming up with ideas for entertaining, sometimes hilarious promotions and competitions, from slingshotting rubber chickens across the court into baskets, to hot dog eating contests, to trivia, races and other head-to-head competitions. The fans love it all. And quite frankly, I think we as staff members and people working the tournament enjoy when we get a chance kind of watching all that unfold on the court as well. And the promotions team members bring an interesting mix of promotions and activities that they do during their maybe regular season games on their campuses, along with thinking of some fun things on the fly based on props and things that we have available to us at Municipal. So I have no doubt that it'll be another excellent run of promotions this coming tournament. And this year, we're excited to give away prizes from Chicken and Pickle, the KC Wheel as well, also the Royals, Cosentino's here in Kansas City, Johnny's Tavern, the official sports bar of the MIAA, and many more, much more from our MIAA partners, including several $100 gift cards we'll be giving away throughout the tournament, and then a $500 gift card, our big promotion prize that we'll be giving away Saturday evening, and I'll touch on that more here shortly. But as far as kind of what goes into it, as I mentioned earlier, really kind of a year-round effort. It's never too early to start thinking and planning ahead for what kind of activities we'll be doing on the court, working with our committee members on that, and then reaching out to our current MIAA sponsors, as well as kind of doing some research and seeing what is maybe new out there and what might be a good fit for us as far as local businesses and companies who might want to get involved and might be interested in, donating an item or two for us to give away. I'll try not to go too long, but as far as things that we have planned, kind of what's on the schedule for this year's tournament, I'll touch more on this a little bit afterward as well, but just briefly, our MIAA Madness Youth Days will be making a turn. So the weekdays of the tournament around the first game or two of the day, the afternoon session, Wednesday through Friday, we'll have tons of students and youth group members creating a lot of energy and fun and excitement in the arena at Municipal during that time. The Kansas City Disc Dogs will be returning as well. So if those who are listening or watching are not familiar, it's a group of local dogs and their owners who enjoy running around, playing with Frisbees, doing tricks with Frisbees. It's very high energy. There's usually, upbeat music. It's a good 5 to 10 minutes show that especially the MIAA Madness Youth Day students love as well.
It sounds like, Anthony, that we've had a couple of the disc dogs maybe make an appearance. I've heard a couple of background barks.
I think so, from some of our four-legged staff members here in the office. Yeah, I think they heard me talk about that. They're very much excited. They probably want to be involved in some way.
They want a starring role in that show.
Exactly.
Sure.
I saw they were part of
the treat aspect too.
I thought they were part of your MIAA meeting. I just assumed they wanted to be on the show and start talking as well. Just the way Mike and I can ramble. The dogs just want their turn at this point to ramble too.
And I can try and wrap up quick, and if we have time, we can fit them in here. Your listeners will probably enjoy that more than listening to me go on and on. But
same here. So they would much rather enjoy seeing a dog than me talk most of the time. And anything I'm doing. So
an idea for maybe a future show. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Love it. The Disc Dogs will be back. They'll be performing at halftime of the noon men's games Wednesday through Friday, and that always seems to be a fan favorite. So we're excited to have them back. Also Wednesday outside of Municipal, but kind of our second such MIAA pep rally presented by 96.5 The Fan, a local sports oriented radio station here in Kansas City. We're thankful to have them partner with us on this. It'll be hosted at Johnny's Tavern. So the first day of the tournament, Wednesday, March 5th from 4 to 6 p.m., kind of that sweet spot in between the afternoon and the evening sessions for a couple of hours. That'll be at Johnny's Tavern, Power and Light in downtown Kansas City, just a very short walk from Municipal. And we want to invite anybody who's listening or watching to this and is maybe thinking about or is planning to head down to Municipal next week to please come down to the pep rally. Not even just MIAA fans, but college basketball lovers in general. We'd love to see you there.
Chris or Anthony, if they have a ticket, they get a free beer too, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah, I was just about to mention that'll be a big selling point.
I think
feel like
so.
for many.
Yeah.
So, how easy is that? Show your game ticket from any of Wednesday's games. You get a free beer, and you can also enter your name to win a number of raffle prizes from the MIAA. Johnny's, of course. The Royals will have some prizes as well to give out. We're really excited about that.
Free dog.
96.5 The Fan. I don't know
not
about
yet,
that,
not
but
yet.
we've got
Okay.
a few
All right.
days. If not for 2025, maybe 2026.
Just have Brennan and Amber bring their dogs and they can just pet free pets.
Free
At
pets,
that
or
point,
maybe a puppy for a day or something. I don't know.
Good luck
Great
getting
idea.
them away. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. At 96.5 The Fan will be on hand to give out more free prizes as well. And then we're at any MIAA schools, men's or women's teams that'll be competing that day. Their spirit squads are going to be planning to come out, and hopefully even a mascot or two, and even pet bands as well. So we're excited about that. And then the raffle will be occurring early enough to where we can knock that out, and then fans can get back in time for the evening session at 6 p.m.
I need to ask you about one of the events that you haven't touched on yet. It goes along with, I think the whole staff should be a part of this, but the Southern bank shot. Is there a way to get all of you to do this? Because just like the first pitch, see, whoever that is just really wants to be a part of all of the festivities.
Yeah, that's Casey. Casey's in charge of office security, and we must have a visitor coming in. But yeah, I think Anthony, I think the fans would be really entertained if they saw staff attempting some bank shots. But we got a prize. We got a big prize to give away.
Yeah,
that I'm not sure we want to bother them watching us. We need to let them have a chance to win, right?
We need some higher level talent competing for that.
Exactly.
And that is something new this year. Our Southern Bank, presenting sponsor of the MIAA basketball championships, they're giving away a $500 gift card for something new for our bank shot promotion. That will be happening Saturday evening during the first contest, the 6 p.m. women's contest of the evening session. And so we've been working closely with our promotions team on building exactly what that looks like. And that plan is we're going to be finalizing that here soon. And we're excited about it. Going to have a number of contestants down on the court competing in a head-to-head competition of sorts before a bank shots where one or the winner will walk away with that $500 gift card. So something new, something we're excited about. And while fans might be entertained, I'm not sure if us staff members want to subject ourselves to year-round embarrassment.
Oh, not year-round.
I'll tell you though, Chris, $500 may come in handy for someone that's about ready to get married.
That's true. It's a good point.
I'm not sure you'd be limited from participating. So
right.
But there's a chance it's going to go poorly. I don't think it would be year-round embarrassment either. It's not like we still talk about Mike's first pitch this summer at all. We don't even mention that.
we quickly forget.
we don't really talk about these things. But no, I could probably use the $500. You're right. Yeah. I'll start practicing this week, and I'll probably one of those terrible. I'm blanking on the movie. That's terrible. I feel bad that I'm blanking on the Will Ferrell movie. Semi-Pro. It's going to be one of those.
Sure.
Yes, it's going to be one of those terrible shots. So I shouldn't do it. But I wanted to ask you too, Anthony, about the youth days a little bit more. I know up here, you guys have been doing it for years down in Kansas City, but I think people up here in St. Joseph have really noticed locally the impact those can have, because we had a local high school do one back in December. Missouri Western did it back in December. And every time I go down there and see what you guys are doing, it's loud, that it's a fun atmosphere. I don't know if the teacher's always having fun, but those kids are having fun at the municipal auditorium. What is the importance of Youth Day like that?
Yeah. Well, for us, it adds even more energy and excitement to some of those earlier games where, especially during the week, it's a little bit tougher, for some to plan ahead or to get out of work in order to go to the games. With those youth days attendees, you have guaranteed hundreds, if not thousands, coming each day. They're making signs and other decorations to hold up. They love being featured on the video board. on-court promotions we've talked quite a bit about. We try to feature as many of those youth days attendees and students and youth group members out there to participate and to walk away winners as possible too. So that's really fun. So it's fun for us, probably even more fun for them, and they get to get out of school or whatever it is that they've got going on that day. So I'm sure they're very excited about that. As you said, maybe teachers, maybe not so much, but I think even they enjoy themselves as well. But essentially, they arrive Wednesday through Friday around 10 o'clock. And then shortly after that, they're treated to kind of a pregame educational program. This year, it will be the Disc Dogs performing for them. And not only just a performance, but kind of the leaders of that group will do usually a 20 to 30-minute Q&A with the attendees, talk a little bit more about what goes into, I think, their prep and performances and how everything comes together. So I know from, usually I'm involved with stuff upstairs, but from what I hear going on downstairs, I'm in the lower level of municipal where that pregame programming takes place. It's really informative and interesting, and the students really enjoy it. They then wrap up their that particular part of the program with lunches, and then they're headed upstairs into municipal to take their seats and enjoy some fun basketball. Usually for at least that first game of the day, if not the second. But one of our committee members and an employee of Washburn Athletics in their advancement department, Matt Hutchinson, does a phenomenal job throughout the year working with current and new contacts. Not even really outside the Kansas City metro area. St. Joe, getting into Topeka, further south as well. He's really trying to expand the footprint of the school districts and groups that we reach out to. I think at last check, we're expecting at least probably 4,500 students and youth group members attending, which is awesome. And that's taking into account all of the, as we know, the bad weather we've had around here recently has caused some schools to either stay away or unfortunately to back away just because of lack of days being available. But even with that, we've gotten word from Matt recently that we've had a few new schools sign up just in recent days, which is awesome to hear. So always an awesome event, meaningful for everybody involved, and it'll be awesome once again here next week.
4,500 students, and there will be one dog in attendance, because that dog does not sound happy that it's not being included in any of this right now.
As of now, we're going to have to figure out that part of it here.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing here. I want to ask one more question about the youth days, Anthony and Mike. This is for you too. Yeah. I think at least for myself, I think I kind of forget sometimes. We're so accustomed to going to these games and being a part of all this that sometimes this is the only time these kids go to college basketball. They only see it. How important is that part to make this a lasting impact or lasting day for these kids that maybe don't have those opportunities to go see college basketball and go to a place like municipal and have a day like this?
Well, I'll start with that, and I think it's a great point, Chris, because we obviously have a lot of young people coming that we're hopeful that they are able to come back later in the week with their mom and dad or aunt, uncle, grandparents, but that that may not be the case, and that's part of what this program is outreach into school districts, giving them a chance to have a program where they can go watch some really good basketball and not have to buy a ticket, and have a chance to, as Anthony said, have a educational program with the Disc Dogs. So a real full day. But we realize we're giving some of these kids a chance to do something that maybe they haven't done before or can't do, and that's big. That's part of our community outreach. I'd love to find a student, one of our male student athletes or one of our female student athletes playing that actually came to the MIAA on a field trip. I haven't found that student athlete yet. I'm sure we will soon.
Only a matter of time.
Yeah, we'll have somebody that their first experience with the MIAA was coming and watching one of our basketball games on a field trip, and then they go on to play in the tournament. How cool would that be? But it's a great 3 days, and I hear from all of our coaches, don't stop doing that. That adds so much. Anthony mentioned the right word, energy in municipal on a Wednesday or Thursday afternoon, and it's really fun and exciting to be around.
Yeah, and I'd echo much of Mike said. He did a great job kind of summing that up too. I'll add that also from a kind of conference promotion standpoint, I know one thing that Matt or others maybe encourage them to do, the schools or the youth groups that are attending while there, or maybe in like some research leading up to it. A lot of those classes or schools attending will look into our conference and which schools are playing that day. So they kind of get an early start on who the MIAA conference is, as a whole, what schools, make up our conference, where they're located, things like that. Then they come out, they have an awesome time. They see the teams compete they're already familiar with. And, it maybe gives them something to aspire to, that game was awesome. I had such a fun time. I know about these schools now, and years down the line, if I have, fortunate enough to have the opportunity, maybe I'll be on the court competing for that school one day as well.
Yeah. We'll wrap up our MIAA basketball tournament conversation before Casey yells at us one more time to wrap it up for the day. Mike, you and I have talked about it before, the future of the MIAA basketball tournament. There were some other communities putting in bids to potentially host this after this current contract runs out in Kansas City, and you have a little bit of news about what's going to take place with the MIAA basketball tournaments moving forward.
Yeah, Chris, you're our favorite newsman in the office, and so there's nothing better in the A Game show to provide some breaking news. But I'm thrilled to announce that the MIAA will be extending its relationship with Kansas City and continuing to have our MIAA men's and women's basketball championships at Municipal Auditorium through the 2020 or the 2030 championships. So we're under contract for 2026, and that's really what caused us to go out to bid. Our presidents wanted to see if there were other communities and cities, event centers that wanted to host the tournament, and what that looked like. And we did have strong interest and a very competitive process. But at the end of the day, the presidents recently voted unanimously that they wanted to return to Kansas City, or keep it in Kansas City, 27, 28, 29, and 2030. So a 4-year extension for Kansas City. Probably not as big a news in Kansas City as the World Cup or the NFL draft, but I know
arguable, Mike.
It's up there. But
Debatable.
I know in talking with Kathy Nelson and her team, they were very committed to putting in a strong bid. They value the MIAA helping to start March Madness every year in Kansas City. They recognize how many people that went to MIAA schools live in Kansas City. About 120,000 people have an MIAA degree, and they recognize what this tournament means, having it in Kansas City. So that's the breaking news. We're not going anywhere. We're excited that we'll continue to call Municipal Auditorium home, and we think, Chris, it'll continue to be college basketball's best small college basketball tournament in the country.
Just one question, just kind of going out of that. What's standing out most about keeping it in Kansas City for the Presidents? Because geographically, it's the biggest centrally located metro. I know Oklahoma City with UCO down there, but that's not geographically centered. But this being the biggest metro area that's relatively centralized, is that one of the big pieces of this still?
I think that was for our presidents. I think they recognize why we have the office in Kansas City is because it is a hub, and this is where this is the city where the overwhelming majority of our alumni live, from all of our institutions. And so a strong fan base, a great history. I think this is our 22nd tournament at Municipal Auditorium. So some of our presidents believe that, if it's not broke, what do we need to fix? Why do we need to go someplace else? I think the biggest thing for our student athletes and our coaches, though, Chris, is just the venue itself and what Municipal Auditorium means to college basketball. There's a surprising number of our student athletes that have had that history lesson. They recognize how many NCAA Final Fours have been played in that building. They recognize that that's a building where John Wooden coached and Wilt Chamberlain played. And, the ghosts of college basketball are alive and well in that venue. The improvements that the city has made to bring an old venue, to modern technology, and it's a great place to watch a college basketball game. So I think that played a big part as well. Just what Municipal Auditorium means to college basketball, and it's an honor for the MIAA to be the conference that gets to stage our postseason event in that facility.
Again, MIAA basketball men's and women's tournaments will stay in Kansas City at Municipal Auditorium through at least the 2030 seasons. Anthony, thank you for joining us today. I'm sorry that Amber had Casey just try to steal the thunder from you this entire conversation. I would pick it up with Amber because she told Casey to do this.
Yeah, tried to steal the show, but Anthony brought his A game, Chris, and he was not deterred.
Hey, I don't know about that, but Casey's the best. Love her. And if I may, really quick too, just a few things to kind of recap as well that I didn't get a touch to mention, if we still have time briefly. But beyond just the tournament itself at Municipal, everybody watching and listening, come to the MIAA pep rally next Wednesday at Johnny's Tavern from 4 to 6 p.m. Friday during the first women's game of the evening session at 6 p.m. Granny basketball is coming back at halftime. You don't want to miss that. That's always a fan favorite as well. And then Saturday, all day and night, so afternoon and evening sessions, is Southern Bank Day. So we will be giving out mini gold branded basketballs following our, I believe, the first contest of the day on Saturday, our first men's contest. And then, like we said, the bank shop promotion, 6 p.m. Halftime game that evening. Don't want to miss that. And fans can register for that starting mid next week up till probably like Friday night at midnight as well. Something to keep an eye out for. And then, we're going to have releases going out, just kind of recapping promotions and what we've got planned, I believe, going out this coming Thursday. And then another one just highlighting our MIAA Madness Youth Days as well. And for maybe any teachers or school administrators or anybody else listening, or maybe wanting to get their classes or groups involved with Youth Days, feel free to reach out to me at arittoff, ARITTOF at the MIAA.com or at 913-346-5205, and I can connect those individuals with Matt Hutchinson, and we'll see what we can do and get your class or group signed up in time. Would love to have you.
MIAA Madness right upon us now. Anthony's work is going to get kicked up a notch. A couple of stressful days, but fun days for, I know, all the staff there. It's going to be a great time back in Kansas City. Gentlemen, thank you for the time today.
Great to see you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.